We're back at Houston Raceway Park where something very curious is happening in the funny car pit. The crew of Mark Oswald has unloaded the Thunderbird body that was used in qualifying and apparently is going to replace the new probe body with this particular piece of fiberglass. We'll try to get some more information on that, Dave McClellan.
While speculation continues in the pits on the racetrack, it is time for the semifinals of Pro Stock Eliminator. Frank Sanchez at the wheel of the Pontiac, racing against the new Ford Probe of Bob Glidden. Glidden selecting the lane nearest the camera, has low ET, and also the new national record at a 7:27.
Even though he has the record, he is still developing this car. The first time we have ever seen him bring race car scales to the track. They are still sorting out the chassis. How quick will it run when it's right? That's what worries the competition in Pro Stock.
And that's what's got to be on the mind of Frank Sanchez. In fact, so much so, he left the starting line too soon, disqualified himself, leaving the red light glowing on the Christmas tree, and Bob Glidden runs a 7.34 second elapsed time. A bit of an improvement over his second round time, and look at the speed, over 189 miles an hour. Tony Christian drives the Chevy Beretta out of the water box in a cloud of smoke. That's just a puddle of water down there, and it's designed to allow the tires to break loose very easily as they go through this burnout procedure. All cars in competition do the burnouts, and that is designed to heat up those race tires, get them as sticky as possible to give them the traction necessary to record these record-shattering elapsed times. Tony Christian, coming out of the sportsman category of racing, now has 2 championships to his credit at the wheel of a Pro Stocker. Let's go to Steve with Bob Glidden.
Oh, what a nice, stunning semifinal round victory, Bob. A 7:34. It's picking up.
That was a little better. We made a pretty nice run there, Steve. Right in front of us, Eddie Hill ran a 4.99, so we thought the track was a little better.
No one is better at keeping one of these cars straight than you are, and that's important.
Well, we've had lots of problems with this car here, trying to figure out the chassis, and we need one more nice run just like that one.
I hope you get it.
Thank you.
Tony Christian in the far lane of the racetrack has a difficult task ahead of him. He has got to race against the Oldsmobile of Warren Johnson, the number 2 qualified car, and consistently the quickest car of the rounds of elimination.
This race may very well be won by the driver that can leave first. Tony Christian over the season has had much better reaction time than Warren Johnson, but it's Johnson away.
Christian having to drive that Beretta back into the center of the lane while Warren Johnson pulls ahead and has even a quicker time than Bob Glidden, 7.33 seconds. His speed also 189 miles an hour, indicating he has lots of horsepower on tap at the wheel of that Oldsmobile. As we look again, you can see the starting line advantage built up by Warren Johnson. When you couple that with the power advantage he had over Tony Christian, it made for a margin of victory of more than a car length as they crossed the finish line a quarter of a mile away from the start. Johnson and his Oldsmobile will be against Bob Glidden and the new Ford Probe in the finals of Pro Stock. Warren Johnson has the lane choice. More racing from the Fram Supernationals in just a moment.
Now we'll move to
Back at the inaugural Fram Supernationals at Houston Raceway Park, I'm Dave McClelland along with Steve Evans, and we're looking in on the Glidden family as they prepare that Ford Probe for the final round Pro Stock race against Warren Johnson. On the starting line, this is the Thunderbird-bodied car of Candies and Hughes. They pulled a switch, and moments ago, Steve Evans had a chance to talk to the crew chief on this car, Leonard Hughes, about the reasons for changing from the Ford Probe body to the Ford Thunderbird body.
David, I'm with Leonard Hughes. Leonard, we saw the crew unloading the Thunderbird body. Is it going on the car?
This round, yes.
Why the change?
Well, we're having trouble spinning the tires in high gear. Evidently, we don't have enough down pressure, and we don't have time to work it out right now. So we're going to go back to what we know and go with that for now.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Okay.
David, a sidebar to that story. With these new lockup clutches, they're putting more horsepower to the rear tires the last 300 or 400 feet than they ever have before, which is causing the tire literally to leave black tracks all the way from the starting line to the finish line. Sometime back, the clutch would slip down there. It no longer does, so downforce critical.
Racing against Oswald is Bruce Larson. Larson in the far lane, Oswald in the near lane. And a great start for Mark Oswald. fastest funny car races of the day. 5.40, 264 miles an hour, his winning time. As we look again, you can see the advantage that Mark Oswald, about 0.02 of a second, gained at the start. Then the car of Bruce Larson just pulled even and pulled ahead. And at that point, he held on to the lead. And as they crossed the finish line, just a few feet separated these two cars. Bruce Larson, the winner.
Talk about your come-from-behind charges. You were looking at the rear of that Thunderbird.
I was, and then we just crept up a little, and I didn't think I could pass him, and all of a sudden the car charged real hard.
540.
Great. That's right in the ball game for the next round.
Indeed, and in the right lane, there's nothing wrong with that strip of asphalt now.
I like it. It's great.
And we like watching it. Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Boy, this man's a fighter, isn't he?
Steve, he's a fighter, and he delivered a knockout punch to that lane furthest from the camera. It had been suspect earlier, but a 5.40 dispels any questions about the traction available to Mike Dunn at the wheel of Joe Pisano's Oldsmobile. And this is a situation really where I believe both drivers have the lane they want. Don Prudhomme, his opponent, had the lane choice and taken the near lane, as so many have. But Mike Dunn told me he is very comfortable over there now. Maybe not a couple of hours ago, but now he is. Prudhomme in the Skoal Bandit Pontiac, getting a final check by his crew, and now begins to pull into those staging beams as starter Buster Couch intently watches both drivers and both vehicles to make sure they're safe for the run. And Buster has tremendous responsibility up there, David. He has to make sure that one driver doesn't take an inordinate amount of time. In racers' parlance, they call it a burn down. You can actually force your competitor to get more heat in his motor and make more power than he really wants to. But none of that going on here. Two totally professional drag racers. Mike Dunn against Don Prudhomme. We're in the semifinals of Funny Car at the Fram Supernationals. And Dunn has strapped one on Prudhomme. And Prudhomme went up in smoke. Dunn across the finish line with an elapsed time of 5.37 seconds. His speed, 272 miles an hour. Even better than the time recorded by Bruce Larson in that far lane. This race is one that may well have been decided the moment the green light flashed on. Look at Mike Dunn in the far lane. He got nearly 0.05 of a second advantage over Prudhomme, who instantly went up in smoke, and Dunn went for the win with a 0.03 of a second advantage in elapsed times over his competitor, Bruce Larson. Mike Dunn has the lane choice in the final round of Funny Car. Now let's go to Steve with Mike Dunn. Well, the Joe Pisano crew dug deep for you, Mike. Done a 5:37. Had the Snake not smoked the tires, you'd have given him a fight all the way.
Yeah, I think we would have given him a good race. I'll tell you one thing. You can say all you want, hats off to Dale Armstrong. They're probably the top of the breed. But I'll tell you, Joe Pisano and Gary Slusher, I'll put them up against any of them any day. We just run on a part-time deal. And for us to come out and compete with these guys head-to-head, it's just a tribute to our crew.
In case you haven't had time to watch the scoreboards, you have lane choice.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Oh, should be a great final. Bruce Larson and Mike Dunn.
Dunn looking ahead to that race. Here comes the crew backing into position to take that Oldsmobile back into the pits for the between rounds preparation. Car owner Joe Pisano coming over and offering one of those famed Granatelli congratulations. In the Eddie Hill pit area, the pace of preparation is precise. No frantic activity here. They're just getting that car ready for the final race against Joe Amato. Coming up a little bit later at the Fram Supernationals.